Welcome to another Lightworkers Guide to the Galaxy. This is a show about spirituality and lightworkers. Now, spirituality is based on one very simple principle. We are all one, and we are connected with everything in existence. Now, that concept is pretty awesome, because what that basically means is that whatever energy we create affects everything else around us. So if we choose to be negative, it's going to create a negative energy. On the other hand, if we choose to be positive, we create a positive effect on the whole. And these are what light workers are. Light workers are individuals that choose to be a positive, loving effect on the whole, giving themselves in service to others as a teacher or as a healer, or simply empowering other people. And these are the people that are the guests on my show. Now, each week I have a loose theme for the show, and the theme for the show this week is called The Golden Emissaries. And I'm joined here now by Marayah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick.
Now, you do a variety of different things, don't you, in your wide sphere of work?
I do.
But what I'd really like to know is where this all started for you.
On my whole journey, you mean, how I've come to be doing everything that I do?
Well, yes. I mean, because a lot of my guests had experiences when they were children or when they were younger, maybe either seeing spirit at that age or so on. Okay. What was it like for you? Where did it start?
I would say when I first started learning Reiki back in 2000, that's when I started waking up again, if you like. And I started seeing angelics and connecting more with my spirit guides.
Oh, right.
And it felt as if when I started to learn Reiki, it was like coming home for me. I know many people probably said that before. It just felt right. And then from the Reiki, other therapies came. So I do a number of different therapies. I also teach Reiki. Have done that in different countries as well. I also do aromatherapy, Tibetan acupressure, head massage, angel healing, trance healing, sound healing, and it was like it's like a snowball effect. When you do one, it opens up the doorways for everything else.
But did you have any experiences when you were a child at all, or did you have an awareness of spirit back then? I
can see it now that I did, but I used to, when I was younger, see. It was almost like a Victorian-type gentleman seemed to sort of follow me to school, if you like, or sit in the back of the classroom. Right. And also things like unexplained noises, because I lived in a big three-storey Victorian house, so obviously that's got history. Yes. So I used to hear noises. At that time, I didn't understand what it is.
What age were you there?
How old was I? I was probably in my teens, and that's quite common, I think, when people go into puberty. Right. For them to start...
Because very often people have what they call an imaginary friend, but obviously to me, to me anyway, that's like their guide.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you have anything like that?
Not that I can remember, unfortunately, Nick. My memory is not, not very good. I expect I did. I know my son definitely did, and I know he definitely saw things, because he used to look in... It's like when cats or dogs know of energy, you know that they can actually sense something.
Sure,
so.
Sure.
I'm sure I did, but...
So when this gentleman first appeared to you, you were how old, you say?
I was still in school, so I would probably be about 12, 13.
Did it freak you out?
No, funny enough, no. It's like all things, sometimes you think it would, as you say, freak you out, the same as if you see spirit orbs or full manifestations. That you think that I'm very scary, and it's quite funny. I'm a very jumpy person, so I'm very surprised that I'm not as jumpy when I see things like that.
So how did you feel exactly?
A sense of awe and wonder, I suppose.
Did you ever mention it to anybody?
Not really, not till I was a bit older. My mother looks at me and says, "I don't know where you get that from." But I know my grandmother, she was very aware, but because she came from that generation, it was kept fairly quiet. So, because this day and age with light workers, we're able to actually show ourselves and actually be who we're supposed to be.
Sure, sure. So, when you did actually tell your Was it both your parents, or just
yes.
what
Both.
was their response?
Well, my mother, she actually does say she does hear her father speak to her. So I'm going, well, he's talking to you then, isn't he? But my dad asks more questions. I think he's more interested in, you know, the spirit side of.
That's interesting, because generally it's women that tend to be more interested, and men tend to poo-poo
Maybe
it,
it
don't
skipped a generation. I don't know. I don't know.
Because I know that, you know, my mum was very much open to stuff, and my dad, oh no, don't do all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, she definitely asks, but then she has that faraway look that happens. You know, you'll start responding with what she's asked you, and then she'll sort of go off. Her eyes will go off. You know.
Yeah. And did you ever try to find out any history, whether this gentleman was related to anything in the home, or?
No, but I mean, I feel now that he was possibly my husband from a previous life. Just from this last year, I mean, we're all on our journeys, aren't we, discovering more about ourselves every day. And I found in my past life was around that sort of era. So I feel he could have been my husband from that previous life, still watching over me.
Right. And then, so that was the very first time you saw a spirit?
Yes, yes.
When was the next time that you actually encountered beings? Was it more spirits that you saw, or was it other beings?
The next time, I would say, is there was a big gap, and then it was the year 2000 when I started doing the Reiki training. In particular, the level 2, I saw my Tibetan guide come in, and he was smiling, and also a circle of angels completely surrounded me, and I just wet buckets. It was just so beautiful.
And how did the angels appear to you as?
I see them as light, just pure light and love.
And what made you think they were angels?
Just because the amount of love that was being shown to me, or
the only reason I ask that is because my understanding is that the angelic beings in their natural state are just pure radiant light beings. People associate angels with the wings and whatever, but
that's what man has
they will take a form that you relate to, won't they?
Exactly. And although they've got, I suppose, energetic wings. I mean, there's a lot of talk at the moment about ourselves opening up our angelic crystalline angel wings that we have, but the fluffy feathers are what man has depicted, and angels are pure love and pure energy, but they're not fluffy.
It's kind of an archetypal kind of thing that we have in our mind, isn't it?
Yes.
The angels and with the wings and whatever. Yeah. When you say not fluffy, what do you mean?
Well, they're very powerful beings of light, aren't they? Yes. They do radiate pure, unconditional love, and as we've discussed before, my feeling is that they are another being from another realm. Yeah. So we see them as angelics, but they're like another. Say, like you would have the Pleiadians, it would be another species, yes.
Yeah, because we have this understanding that we live in a multi-dimensional universe, and there are many different vibrational levels.
You and I are sitting in another dimension now, doing the same thing.
So there are these other beings that you call the golden emissaries. Mm-hmm. Now, when did they first
connect with me? Well, at first I thought, I've always done the angels and some of the ascended masters. I'm going, I don't do star people. No, you've got the wrong people. About a couple of years ago, when I was working with a friend of mine who's a deep trance medium, and she was teaching me to go trance, but I don't go deep trance, I'm more of a conscious channel at the moment, as I keep getting told. And about 2 years ago, I was doing meditation and going into that altered state, and I didn't know it at the time that they were them that have come through. It's probably not proper English, I know, I'm sorry. But they came through and said, it's time to honour your sacred contract, and you will be the voice of many. And then that was it, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know who that was, blah, blah, blah. Then a few years later, I think actually I was on a workshop with a colleague of mine who's not too far away, and I had this "You are one of 7" come through, and I'm thinking, what does that mean? It's all these little stepping stones. spirit or anybody, they give you little bits of information. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle putting it together. And I thought, is that 7 sisters, you know, Pleiadians? And then eventually they started stepping forward, and the first time I saw them, they stepped forward and I could just see them in golden cloaks. So, you know the Scottish Widows advert when they got the cloaks like that? It was like that. So I couldn't see much of them, but they were saying that that was the reason, because they were slightly different looking, and they know I'm a jumpy, that they wanted to ease me into it gently. But in effect, they are my soul family, but from a different dimension, if you can get that around your head. And there are 7 of us, and I'm one of them. So I'm kind of in the middle, and I hold down the energy so that they can come through.
Now, you say they're from a different dimension.
Yes.
But does that also mean a different star system?
We're a group. I say we because I am part of them. We are a group. We have different races within our group who have come together to do this particular piece of work. We were together in the times of Lemuria, so we were elders or tribal leaders, however you want to see it. So we agreed to come back. I agreed to do this piece of work, I'm told many eons ago, and now it's time, because it's becoming more acceptable with the star groups or ETs. It's coming more into the realms of the television. They're wanting to step forward more
Well,
now.
yeah, I mean, the sad thing is that there's this trend of showing that any ET beings are hostile.
Absolutely.
Dark forces wanting to take over the Earth.
That has happened in the past, Nick, centuries ago. But so, like all things, there is good and bad.
Sure, but there is definitely this fear-mongering.
Yes.
To scare people about having any communication with off-world beings. And I mean, the word alien itself,
I don't like that word at all.
To me, is an insult to these beings, because the word alien means to alienate.
Yes.
And most of these beings are about bringing people together, not alienating people.
No.
The interesting thing, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is that most of the tribal cultures, irrespective of the fact that they were at one time completely separated by continents. So you've got the Aborigines, you've got many African tribes, Eskimos, and particularly the Native Americans. In their culture, they all acknowledge that the origins of humanity came from the stars.
Absolutely.
And pay tribute to the star ancestors and have kept in communication with them, particularly the Native Americans.
Yes.
Now, the version of history we've been given in the West, they've kind of deliberately
Yes, and the time's coming when that's going to change.
Hidden that information. So, I mean, I totally, accept the existence of beings from other planetary systems, albeit on different dimensions, because they've evolved beyond the 3rd dimension physicality. And these beings you're talking about sound like they're very much of the higher dimensions.
Yeah, they are. They appear always in golden light, and if I work with people with them, the golden light comes through from them as well. They are. We don't like to place labels on ourselves, but they are akin to masters of light. They've evolved past their physical body, which in times gone by we were able to do so. Also, we were more in contact with our light bodies than the physical bodies. So.
Do they give any indication of where they're from?
Yes, as I say, there's a mixture. I believe I'm from Sirius.
Okay.
We have half of the group of Pleiadians. There is also Andromeda and Arcturian as well, I believe. So. And
they all look completely different from each other, or are they all?
No, they all look different. I mean, there's other. As we'll get into later, there are other groups I work with, but they all, I only see bits of what they look like. So there are some that have got blue skin, and their hands are maybe 4 fingers, and they're very long, and almost got like haven't worked out what they are, but like kind of suckers or something on the ends of the fingers. And when I've been working with people, they have seen the blue fingers.
Right.
There are.
Freak them out.
Yeah, well, I usually warn people if I know that they're clairvoyant and they can see.
Yeah.
I usually say, well, I do work with other types of beings, so you know you may see different people. There are some that look more humanoid, like you and I. Yeah. There are reptilian, so all sorts of. I've even had one that's more fish-like.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because I've felt the gills on my neck.
Just hold that thought, because we're coming up to commercial break, so we'll continue this in a moment. Join us in a minute. Welcome back to the show, and we're talking about golden emissaries, and we were just talking, you were just talking about the different types of species. Mm-hmm. And of course you mentioned reptilian beings, which people that are familiar with the David Icke material, that's one of the things that he's talks a lot about, and obviously there's a lot of fear amongst people about reptilian type of beings. Now, what is your perception on that?
There are, as mentioned before, there's good and bad in all races. I've connected with some reptilians who are more from the Christ consciousness. So there are still the ones that are not, I hate to use the word negative, but of not the same vibration as coming from love. There are many, I understand, that actually almost feed off the energy of fear and anger.
Yeah. Well, people do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I've often said to people, you know, if a race of beings came here and observed us and saw the way that we treat our animals on this planet, harvesting them for food, right? Or let's put it another way, if a race of beings came here and started harvesting human beings for food, we wouldn't think much of them, would we? No. We would consider them to be dark, dire, evil, horrendous beings. Yet human beings don't view themselves in that way when they go and harvest innocent animals for their own food. Yeah. And we don't consider ourselves to be dark, evil, dire beings, although there might be some, but as a race. So it's an interesting perspective, isn't it? The idea of you know, what is bad, what is good, what is positive, what is negative.
But we always fear what we don't understand or we don't know.
I mean, it's been my understanding from my journey with regard to the different star beings, star people, that there are numerous reptilian type beings, and it's only a small handful that are actually towards the negative side. A lot of very positive, loving ones. And you had a visitation, didn't you, with someone Friday?
I did, yes. I was just sat minding my own business in my front room, and there was a group of 4 reptilian beings that came forward, and they had connected with me last year, funny enough, when I was recovering from a major operation, and I said, whoa, the energy was... unless you're used to different energy, it can be a bit disconcerting, because it's different type of feel to if you were connecting with your spirit guides or angelics. It's completely different, and it was very full on. And I was thinking, not ready for you yet, come back another time. So that's what they did on Friday. They obviously knew that I was coming on the show here. How I would describe them, they're quite tall, and they were like a browny, beigey sort of colour. And they had like a bony structure around the top of their head from what I could see. What they were saying is they actually come not from different planets, but from within our planet, so coming from the inner Earth, which is a new concept, I have to admit to myself. I know friends who are very understand that more, but this is what they said. They come from the inner Earth. They were able, their vibration, like a lot of star beings and spirit guides, is very different from ours, which is why we can't always see them with the physical eye. But they were saying they're able to actually work with light as well, so that they could be unseen. And they were saying what is happening on the top of Gaia at the moment is having a direct impact on their environment beneath the Earth. And they were saying that you know, they have lush vegetation down there, plenty of water. Understandably, you would expect it. They're saying it's quite warm down there, but they do come up and they actually have walked amongst us, but obviously we're not able to see them.
Right, wow. Yeah, there have been numerous stories of the inner earth, people having had experiences with inner earth beings. You brought a wonderful guest on with you, Penny. Welcome to the show. Now, you've had personal experiences of the healing side, is that correct?
Yes, well, I wasn't very well a couple of weeks ago, and Marayah kindly sent assistant healing. So at the appointed time, I went and lay down, and I had this amazing sense of golden, almost dust all around me. And I think there were people, but I couldn't clearly see them. I sensed they were there, but it was the dust. It was just all golden all around me, and it was amazing.
So are these your beings coming through?
Yes.
Do they generally come through when you do the healing, or do you have many different?
No, different ones step forward, but a lot of the time it is the golden emissaries, yes. I didn't understand, when they first started coming to me, I thought it was purely about the voice, what they wanted to put across, but it has turned out that they actually do the healing as well.
Wow. And the particular, well, the reason you went for, obviously, because you had some sort of ailment of some description. Did it help? Did it lift? Did it?
Yes, it did. Yes, yes. I did feel a difference afterwards.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. And have you yourself on your journey had a? Obviously, you have a spiritual awareness yourself.
Yes.
Have you seen spirit at all?
Not as clearly as Marayah does. No.
Right.
I sense sometimes. I have a sense that there's
mine's
someone
sensing.
there.
I don't
yes,
see. I
it's
sense.
a sensing and feeling sometimes when I've done work, say on Marayah, and I think they work through me because it's like undulations under my hands when I'm doing the Reiki on Marayah. It's amazing.
So you do Reiki as well? Okay.
But yes, it's incredible.
So did your spiritual awakening happen through the Reiki, or you already been aware?
Yes, I don't think I was as aware until I did the Reiki.
Oh, okay. Okay. And what was your? How did you feel when the idea that there were star people that were?
I think if I had heard that from anyone other than Marayah, I might have wondered. But I absolutely trust that what she's saying is true.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. I mean,
yes,
you know, we're not the only, can't be the only species
No.
In this mega multiverse.
Dimensional parallel universe.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing too, of course, is that, you know, look how many different variety of species just live on this one planet.
Exactly.
So the idea of beings on other worlds and those beings looking completely different to us also makes total sense, doesn't it? Okay, yes, there could well be beings that do look similar to us. My view of that is actually it's the other way around. We look like them because our genetics came from them. That's
exactly.
my feeling.
No, I agree with you. Yes.
So, and there's this idea of if our original DNA came from different star groups,
yes,
we must carry the genetic memory.
We do because
Of those.
Because many. If I go back to maybe Lemuria again, Penny also was in Lemuria with me. I find I'm meeting lots of different people at the moment from that era, and it's lovely. But I've lost my track.
I mean, talking about, you've got a picture there, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
This is.
Where do I have to hold it?
Yeah, hold it up over there. Yes. Yeah. Now, what do you know of this being?
Well, his name is Elios, and it was painted by a friend of mine, Karina Thorby, and she'd never done transfiguration before. So I said, okay, well, I'll show you what transfiguration is. And we were just sat, and she started shifting in her seat a bit, and she says, I won't say what she said, but she said, oh, she said, hang on a minute, and she rubbed her eyes. And I said, okay, we'll go again. So I asked them to come closer, and she said, that's not human, that's not human. And this is who she saw come over my face. And I haven't worked out which planet he comes from, but I know it is a long, long, long way away. And apparently he used to be a playmate of mine many eons ago. And he is quite playful. Right. So just like us, they have sense of humour. I know when I've sat with people with the golden emissaries before, they have actually made a little joke, you know, they're the same as us. They've all got humour. So, but there seem to be a lot of blue-skinned beings. I remember once when I had a friend who can actually see more with the physical eye. And it was like a gathering of the council, because I'm told I sit on the Council of Light. I've seen myself sit on this table. And we had, he said, oh, it's getting busy in here. And I said, yes, it is, isn't it? And he says, well, there's a group of 3 over there. They look female and they're blue and they've got plaited hair. Then over by the fireplace there's another, and they've got green skin. And over, I said, yes, and there's some by me. And he was saying, oh, they're red. I said, no, they're not quite red. They're red with maybe cream mixed in, and we think they're from Saturn. So it's like you get all these different, and it's like they're gathering and waiting.
Did they say whether they look humanoid or not?
These ones so far have not. They all look slightly different from each other. Right. But it's kind of, when initially I was told I would speak as one voice, when the emissaries have spoken before, sometimes my voice has changed and people have noticed different personalities coming through, but the actual, the energy or the message is the same, because what we've done is we've travelled through many times, many dimensions, still able to do that, watching, waiting, gathering information, and now is the time to just come forward and try and help. It's more like most people have been saying, is coming from the heart, from a place of love, back from the time in Lemuria when we were all connected, we came from the heart, everything was shared, we had abilities, telepathic abilities, telekinesis, you know, and it's going back to that and maybe the simple things of life as well. So it's coming full circle.
Sure. Did they give me any indication that we may start having open communication with these beings?
They will, because from what I understand, many are gathering at the moment over the planet. It's almost like Earth is a hotspot, for want of a better word, because we're a relatively young planet, and there's different races that have been around for quite a long time, watching and waiting. They have visited before, but we don't always see them, and they're waiting for disclosure, really, because I think they've connected before, maybe with, dare I say it, governments and bodies, but things, like you said, have been brushed under the carpet. But it's coming close to the time now where they'll be making themselves more known.
Do you think, because I know you said they haven't specifically said anything to you about the 2012,
no.
They've not really given...
No, not yet, but sometimes some people are here to work specifically for that moment in